Focus is a competitive advantage because it allows you to direct your full mental and emotional energy toward what actually moves your life forward. When attention is not divided, effort becomes more effective, decisions become clearer, and progress accelerates naturally. Most people underestimate how much power is lost through constant distraction, yet that lost power is exactly what separates average outcomes from exceptional ones. In a world designed to steal attention, the ability to focus has become rare, and rarity creates value. Every notification, comparison, and unnecessary conversation fragments momentum. While others scatter their energy across multiple directions, the focused individual compounds effort in one direction long enough for results to emerge. Focus eliminates confusion by forcing clarity. When you decide what matters most, everything else becomes secondary. Time is no longer wasted reacting to noise or chasing irrelevant opportunities. Instead, each action aligns with a clear objective, making progress intentional rather than accidental. When focus is present, learning accelerates. Skills are developed faster because attention is not diluted. Repetition becomes deeper, understanding becomes sharper, and mastery becomes possible. Those who focus improve while others remain busy without getting better. Focus also strengthens discipline. When the mind is trained to stay on task, emotional resistance loses control. You stop negotiating with distractions and start executing regardless of mood. This consistency builds trust in yourself, reinforcing the habit of follow-through. The focused individual avoids unnecessary competition. Instead of watching what others are doing, energy is invested in personal improvement. This inward direction prevents discouragement and comparison, allowing growth to happen without emotional interference. Focus multiplies time. Hours spent with full presence outperform days spent in partial attention. What others struggle to complete in weeks, the focused individual accomplishes in days because energy is concentrated rather than fragmented. Clarity of focus sharpens decision-making. You say no more often, not because opportunities are bad, but because they are misaligned. This selectiveness preserves energy for what truly matters, making progress sustainable instead of exhausting. Focus creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. Small wins stack quickly when attention remains fixed. Each completed task reinforces belief, making the next action easier and more decisive. Over time, focus transforms effort into inevitability. While others wonder why progress feels slow, the focused individual continues advancing steadily, quietly pulling ahead through disciplined attention and sustained execution. Silence is a strategy because it protects energy from being wasted on unnecessary explanations, opinions, and reactions. When you remain silent, your focus stays intact and your effort is invested in progress rather than persuasion. Most people drain themselves trying to be understood instead of trying to improve. Silence prevents premature exposure of your plans. When goals are spoken too early, they become vulnerable to doubt, criticism, and discouragement. Keeping your intentions private allows them to mature without external interference, strengthening execution before results are visible. Working in silence removes the pressure to perform for approval. You are no longer influenced by expectations or the need to impress others. This freedom creates authenticity, allowing you to move at your own pace and build according to your own standards. Silence eliminates comparison. When you stop announcing what you are doing, you also stop measuring your progress against others. This inward focus keeps your confidence stable and your momentum uninterrupted, regardless of what others appear to achieve. Through silence, discipline becomes louder than words. Actions replace explanations, and consistency replaces promises. The absence of noise forces effort to speak for itself, creating credibility that cannot be argued or dismissed. Silence strengthens mental resilience. Without constant feedback, you learn to rely on your own judgment and commitment. This independence builds inner authority, making you less reactive to praise or criticism. When you operate silently, distractions lose their influence. Conversations, debates, and validation-seeking behaviors fade, leaving more time and energy for meaningful work. This simplicity sharpens clarity and reinforces purpose. Silence also increases patience. Progress unfolds without urgency for recognition, allowing long-term thinking to guide decisions. This patience prevents burnout and encourages steady, sustainable growth. Strategic silence makes outcomes more powerful when they appear. Results arrive without warning, shifting perception instantly and commanding attention without explanation. Over time, silence transforms effort into quiet confidence, where progress continues steadily and strength is measured by consistency rather than volume. Attention often creates the illusion of movement without producing real results. Being noticed, discussed, or acknowledged can feel productive, but none of it changes circumstances unless it is followed by deliberate effort. Progress only occurs when energy is converted into tangible action that moves life forward. Many people confuse visibility with achievement. They talk about plans, share intentions, and seek approval, believing that recognition is evidence of advancement. In reality, attention rewards appearance, while action rewards execution, and only execution alters outcomes. Action demands responsibility, while attention demands performance. When attention is the goal, effort shifts toward maintaining an image rather than improving ability. This focus on perception replaces discipline, leaving growth stagnant despite constant activity. Progress requires friction. Action forces you to confront resistance, mistakes, and discomfort. Attention avoids these challenges by offering validation without effort, creating comfort without improvement, and noise without results. Action produces feedback that matters. Results, whether successful or flawed, provide information that refines strategy and builds competence. Attention provides praise or criticism, but neither improves skill unless followed by purposeful adjustment. Those who prioritize action build confidence differently. Their belief comes from evidence created through repetition and follow through, not from applause or encouragement. Each completed task reinforces self-trust and strengthens momentum. Attention fades quickly, but action compounds. Recognition is temporary, while effort accumulates value over time. Small actions, repeated consistently, grow into measurable progress that cannot be denied or reversed. Action also clarifies direction. Movement reveals what works and what doesn't, eliminating uncertainty through experience. Attention keeps you talking about possibilities, while action turns possibilities into facts. When action becomes the priority, distractions lose appeal. Time spent chasing approval feels costly because it delays progress. Focus shifts from being seen to becoming effective. Over time, consistent action reshapes identity, transforming effort into results and separating those who appear busy from those who are actually advancing. Hard work only reveals its true power when it is applied consistently over time. Isolated effort creates temporary movement, but repeated effort builds momentum that continues even when conditions are not ideal. Consistency turns ordinary actions into a force that steadily reshapes outcomes. Each day of disciplined work adds a small layer of progress that may seem insignificant in the moment. Yet these layers accumulate, strengthening skills, sharpening judgment, and increasing capacity. What appears slow at first becomes unstoppable as effort stacks upon effort. Consistency removes dependence on motivation. When work becomes a routine rather than a reaction to emotion, progress becomes predictable. You show up whether you feel inspired or not, allowing results to be driven by structure instead of mood. Hard work compounds because repetition deepens mastery. Doing the same essential tasks daily refines technique and reduces wasted motion. Over time, what once required struggle becomes efficient, freeing energy for higher-level growth. Consistent effort also builds resilience. Facing challenges regularly conditions the mind to handle pressure without retreat. Instead of avoiding difficulty, you develop confidence through exposure and persistence. Trust in yourself grows through consistency. Each kept commitment reinforces self-belief, making future discipline easier. This internal reliability becomes a foundation for long-term success. When hard work is consistent, progress becomes less visible to outsiders but more powerful internally. Quiet improvements accumulate until results suddenly appear, often surprising those who were not paying attention. Consistency sharpens focus by reducing decision fatigue. When actions are habitual, fewer mental resources are spent debating whether to act. Energy is conserved for execution and problem solving. Over time, consistent hard work aligns effort with identity. You no longer see discipline as something you do, but as something you are. This shift makes perseverance natural rather than forced. As consistency continues, effort transforms into momentum, and momentum carries progress forward even when challenges arise. Self-discipline removes the need for validation. Expand it and don't add any ending sentence and make it lengthy in 10 paragraphs without heading and conclusion. Self-discipline shifts the source of approval from external voices to internal standards. When you consistently honor commitments you make to yourself, the desire for recognition begins to fade. Progress becomes personal, measured by effort and integrity rather than applause. Validation is often sought when confidence is unstable. Self-discipline stabilizes confidence by creating evidence through action. Each disciplined choice reinforces trust in yourself, reducing the need for others to confirm your worth or direction. When discipline governs behavior, emotions lose control over decisions. You no longer act to impress, please, or be noticed. Instead, actions are guided by long-term goals, making external opinions irrelevant to daily execution. Self-discipline creates independence. You stop waiting for encouragement to begin and stop slowing down when encouragement disappears. This autonomy allows progress to continue regardless of praise or criticism. As discipline strengthens, comparison weakens. You become less concerned with how others perceive your journey and more focused on meeting your own standards. This inward focus protects momentum and preserves mental clarity. Validation seeking often leads to distraction and inconsistency. Discipline eliminates this cycle by replacing attention-seeking behaviors with structured effort. Energy once spent on being seen is redirected toward becoming capable. Through discipline, identity becomes rooted in action rather than perception. You define yourself by what you do consistently, not by what others say about you. This alignment creates quiet confidence that does not require explanation. Self-discipline also reduces emotional volatility. Praise no longer inflates the ego, and criticism no longer derails progress. Stability emerges because actions are anchored to principle rather than reaction. As discipline compounds, self-respect grows. Knowing you can rely on yourself removes the need to borrow confidence from external sources. This self-respect becomes a steady source of motivation. Results eliminate the need for justification. When outcomes are visible, explanations become unnecessary because evidence speaks on its own. Progress settles debates that words could never resolve. Explanations are often used to compensate for a lack of execution. They attempt to clarify intent, defend effort, or manage perception. Results remove this need entirely by making intent obvious through action. People may doubt plans, question methods, or misunderstand timing, but results override skepticism. Tangible outcomes shift opinions without argument. Because reality is more persuasive than reasoning, explanations invite opinions while results command respect. When you explain, you open space for judgment and interference. When you deliver results, attention naturally follows without resistance. Results also create credibility that cannot be borrowed or fabricated. They are earned through discipline, consistency, and persistence. This credibility is permanent, unlike approval gained through words. Those who focus on results conserve energy. Instead of debating, convincing, or defending themselves, they invest effort into execution. This focus accelerates progress and reduces distraction. Results bring clarity to identity. They define who you are through what you have produced, not through what you claim. This clarity strengthens confidence and direction. Explanations often change with circumstances, but results remain constant. They stand as proof of capability regardless of narrative or opinion. This permanence makes them powerful.